Hello, Lost Sci-Fi fans. We are live with what will be episode 477 of the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast, probably tomorrow, which would make that Tuesday, January 27th. The story is called The Invader by Alfred Coppel. And I'm going to do something I have rarely done. I've done it on occasion, but not very often. This is going to be a cold read. In other words, I have not read the entire story. Okay, so this is a cold read, which is not something I do very often, but what the heck, I thought I'd give it a shot. By the way, if you missed this live, they stay on Facebook for 30 days, I believe. I believe that's correct. A plug for merchandise. Anyway, so they stay there for 30 days after we're done, and you can enjoy it if you like. Don't worry if you miss it. It's no big deal. And the reason we don't tell you in advance when we do these narration lives is I just don't know when we're going to go and record. Like, I just released episode 475 in the last hour and a half. 476, the story is recorded, and I need to write and record the intro and the ending of 476. And I'm going to try and release that one today as well, late tonight. But now we're going to record 477. Again, the Alfred Coppel story, The Invader. And then the hope is that we'll finish this in its entirety, recording, edit it, and release tomorrow. That's the hope. Doesn't always work that way, but that's what we hope. Okay. It's a little hot in the booth. It always is. And so it's difficult sometimes because, you get the sweat and then it makes noise. It's a long story. Anyway, what you are hearing, there will be an edited version of it, and you're just getting the audio that goes into my phone, but not the actual real audio that you will hear on the podcast, again, hopefully as early as tomorrow. So somebody has joined us live. I am glad you're here. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, we are thankful for the tens of thousands of listeners we have on the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast. It kind of boggles the mind, to be honest with you. Okay. I'm going to take another drink and let's see if indeed we can make magic in the booth. The Triomed advanced stealthily across the floor of the dark cell toward the sleeping figure huddled in the corner. After the long, lonely voyage, the nearness to a host filled the Triomed with eager anticipation. The tiny spaceship that had carried him into this lush planetary system, far from the galaxy's heart, lay well hidden behind him. So far as he could tell, his descent had not been detected, and that was as it should be, for he was a Triomed and a scientist. I think I said scientists. Let's go back and redo that. Was a Triomed and a scientist. Yeah, it didn't sound right. Descent had not been detected. So, as we always say, this is not for everybody. Some people don't like to watch when we go live and do the narration, and that's okay. It's totally okay. If you dig it, if you like it, great. We're glad you're here. Even if you're watching the replay, we are thankful for you. We have so many amazing listeners all over the world. It's really, truly mind-boggling. And by the way, to our Canadian listeners, we are close to number one. We've been so close to number one in Canada. We've never been there. Actually, the highest we've ever been was 3. But we were at number 3 yesterday, I think, for many hours. And so all we needed was maybe just a few more, maybe a few more hundred people in Canada to listen to 1 or 2 episodes yesterday, and we would have hit number 1. So that's our goal, is to hit number 1 in Canada. Possibly, the way things are going, possibly in the next few days. Hopefully, in the month of January for sure. Okay, let's continue.
His descent had not been detected.
And that was as it should be, for he was a triomed and a triamed. I think I'm going to say triamed.
And that was as it should be.
Triamed.
And that was as it should be.
For he was a triomed and a scientist, one of the finest in the service of his dying race. Dying, that is, until now, he thought. No longer would the race of triomeds weaken and die for lack of suitable hosts. This third planet of the yellow sun was a paradise thick with warm-blooded biped mammals. Okay. This is where there's a break in the script, so I stop and I actually put a break in there. All right. So as you may have noticed, when we go live this way doing the narration, we don't stay on long, and just want to give you a sample of what the process is like. And again, to tease this story, which is by Alfred Coppel, called The Invader, will be episode 477 on the podcast, hopefully as early as Tuesday, January 27th. And that would take us to within 23 episodes of 500 for our 4th anniversary, which is what we're really trying to accomplish. So working super hard to make that happen. The sleeping creature stirred uneasily, as though sensing the approach of danger. The triomed froze into immobility. It was unlikely that he could be seen, he knew. Didn't like the way I said it.
Immobility.
If you're watching us live, you're watching the replay, we are thankful for you. Please know that.
The triomed froze into immobility.
It was unlikely that he could be seen, he knew, though the sense of sight was only a synthesized abstraction to him. It was not one of his own proper senses, but he had been able to detect that long distance that almost every living creature on this planet received impressions through certain specialized organs mounted on and within their structure. There were plants, of course, as there were on Triom.
Their structure. Mounted on and within their structure.
There were plants, of course, as there were on Triom, but they were unimportant. There were viruses, too, and he had been afraid when he had discovered this fact that he had arrived too late. But the first attempts at establishing communication had relieved the triomed of his fears. The indigenous viruses were primitive, not at all like his own illustrious ancestors of ancient Triom. The sleeping biped relaxed, and the triomed inched forward again, a flat, almost two-dimensional smear of glistening matter on the floor in front of the biped. From high above the planet's night side, the triomed had sensed the city. He had absorbed its shape and size and meaning while his craft settled through the heavy, oxygen-rich air. It was not enough that his instruments told of suitable hosts. Don't like the way I said that.
The heavy, oxygen-rich air.
And we're just going to keep going for a few more minutes, and then... This is a relatively short story. I think it'll be 24 to 25 or 26 minutes when it is done. Let's see where we were.
The oxygen-rich air.
Oxygen-rich air. There we go. Glad you could join us. And if you're watching the replay, we're glad you could join us for that as well. Thank you. Okay.
Settled through the heavy oxygen-rich air.
It was not enough that his instruments told of suitable hosts. He was a scientist and believed in absolute proof. Also, he had been in space long, without the satisfaction of a host, and he yearned for the rapport, the domination of a warm-blooded creature. There had been a dark segment in the brilliant pattern of the city, an island of solitude amid.
Segment in the brilliant pattern of the city. A dark segment in the brilliant pattern of the city.
An island of solitude amid the... Sometimes when you make a mistake, you're just like, I can't get past this one.
A dark segment in the brilliant pattern of the city.
An island of solitude amid the myriad confluences. Myriad. Not myriad, myriad.
A dark segment in the brilliant pattern of the city.
An island of solitude amid the myriad confluences. It was there that he had landed his tiny probe ship and hidden it among the thickly wooded glades. Almost immediately, he had sensed the nearness of many creatures, insects, plants, warm-blooded quadrupeds, and bipeds. There had been machines and buildings and winding roadways among the trees. Darkness had covered his progress until at last he found himself near the sleeping creature, ready to infiltrate. And I don't like how I said that.
As he found himself near the sleeping creature.
Again,
he found himself near the sleeping creature.
Ready to infiltrate and take command. Okay. This is Alfred Coppel's The Invader, and it will be episode 477 of the podcast, released hopefully tomorrow. I need to do almost one a day every day, all the way to February 24th, which is our 4th anniversary. So that's a lot. I have done that before, but the difference is when I did that before, I was scrolling the script and went too far. When I did it before, a year or two ago, almost all of those stories were already recorded. All I had to do was write the intro and the closing and then record that and put it together. So I've never done what I'm attempting to do now. And it's a lot of work, but I just have to hit episode 500 for our 4th anniversary. It's a crazy goal that I have. So that's what we're going to do everything we can possibly do to accomplish. And that was another one of the breaks in the script. And we leave 2 to 2.5 seconds for that break. It's a little hot in the booth. It always is. I'm going to open the door just for a second, which will let in some fresher, cooler air. And then the sweat, gets around the lips and it makes noise when I talk. So that's why I do this and dry it off and then use a little of this, which is the Costa Rican equivalent of chapstick, I guess. And it makes it when your lips come together and you're talking for a long time, they make little noises. And those noises annoy the heck out of me. And I got to believe they annoy the heck out of you, too, as a listener. So I do everything I can to make the audio, reaching over to shut the door, to make the audio as perfect and pristine as possible. It's never perfect, but I try to get it as close to that as possible. So here we go. We'll do a few more minutes. The glistening shape elongated, became a thread-like tendril of almost gossamer thickness. It touched the flesh of the sleeper and thrilled with pleasure. Cautiously, the Triamed moved up the hairy leg, an invisible strand of alien life close to the warm skin. Presently, the strand found the opening it sought. It slithered imperceptibly into the moist warmth of the sleeper's nostril, moved through the tear duct into the space behind the eyeball. Here it probed through muscle and membrane along the base of the brain, seeking, I can't remember, pineal? I never can remember how to say that one.
Along the base of the brain.
And this is where Merriam-Webster.com comes in handy. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I'm so glad you're here, and I appreciate fantastic work, a real art. You are very kind, and I am very thankful for you. And this is the, there's so many reasons why you can only do so much. And I will say this, and I don't doubt that this is true. I would imagine that had I done this when I was in my 20s or 30s or even 40s, I would be able to accomplish more than I can now. Just getting older just makes it more difficult, Not an excuse, just a fact. I get tired and it gets hot in the booth. Pineal. This is Merriam-Webster.com, and I almost always go with the first, sometimes they list two, and in this case they do. Pineal. I almost always go with the first pronunciation.
Membrane along the base of the brain.
Pineal. And this is so funny because
Pineal.
I have in my head the way I sometimes say it, and so it just makes it difficult sometimes. And I want every word to be pronounced properly.
Membrane along the base of the brain.
Seeking the pineal gland, and found it, penetrated it, coiling like a microscopic serpent. Whoops.
Penetrated it, coiling like a...
Okay. So yes, thank you again, Jamie, for your kind words and for joining us. Penetrated it. There we go.
And found it. Penetrated it.
Coiling like a microscopic serpent within the gland. A surge of pleasure went through the Triamed. Here was safety. The host was large, powerful, and vibrant with life. Quickly, the Triamed established dominance. It was shockingly easy. The creature's mind was immature, primitive. Briefly, it struggled and then died as the alien poisoned the identity centers of the brain. New sensations poured in through unfamiliar sense organs. Sounds of the faraway city, small sounds from the many living creatures in the darkness, smells and sights and pressures from all about him presented themselves, were evaluated and recorded in the atomic structure of the Triamed. He was now equipped, he reflected with satisfaction, to carry out further exploration. In the guise of the indigenous biped, he could roam among the natives at will. He remained in a sitting position, however, while he familiarized himself with his host. He had two articulated appendages. Nope, didn't say that right.
His host.
All right, we'll go for just a little longer, and then we'll end this. Articulated appendages. For some reason, that's tough for me to say today. I don't know why.
While he familiarized himself with his host.
He had two articulated appendages. I don't think I said it right.
While he familiarized himself with his host.
He had two articulated appendages fixed to the trunk at a point near and below the skull case. These ended in complex extremities consisting of 5 jointed fingers. The same pattern was repeated at the lower end of the trunk, but the extremities were suited there for the carrying of the creature's considerable weight. Within the trunk were the customary viscera?
Weight.
I think it's viscera. This is the other funny thing, and I never knew this until I started narrating audiobooks, but there are words that I had mispronounced all my life, or kind of got close, but and now I'm really picky. It doesn't show me a pronunciation. All right. Now we have to go to the internet and type in that and see if we can get, here we go.
Víscera.
Well, that's in Spanish because I am in Costa Rica and it knows that I am in Costa Rica. So let's go to
Víscera.
It's víscera. Let's do that again. Merriam-Webster didn't give that to me. Spanish. I don't want the dictionary.com. Let's see if they've got it. Viscera.
Viscera.
Viscera. There you go. I think I would have pronounced it right, but I always want everything to be as perfect as it can possibly be.
Weight.
Okay. See if there's another tough word here. I don't think so. I think we can get through this.
For the carrying of the creature's considerable weight.
Within the trunk were the customary viscera generally associated with warm-blooded beings: lungs, intestines, stomach, liver, bladder, reproductive organs, and assorted ducted and ductless glands. It was apparent to the Triomed that his present body was in excellent health. He was greatly pleased. After some careful experiments, the Triomed rose. If there was a proper method of egress from the cubicle in which he found himself, it was not imprinted on the biped's brain. For a moment this gave the alien pause. He could, of course, determine the proper method by a tedious process of trial and error, but that would take time, and he had no desire to waste the hours of darkness. One wall, he noted, consisted of vertical risers fixed in the substance of the floor and ceiling. Beyond, he could see the darkling woods and the sky glow of the city. The answer, then, was simple force. He did not doubt there was strength enough in the host's musculature to distort the risers. His assumption was quite correct. Okay.
Assumption was quite correct.
And we are going to stop this recording at this moment. So we've actually done approximately 1/3 of the story already. So we will get this recorded today. I don't know what time that is. It's almost 4:00 Costa Rican time, which this time of year without the daylight savings thing is the same as Chicago, Kansas City, Dallas, and Houston. So by 5 to 6 p.m. tonight, I will have finished recording this story, and I'm pretty confident that we can get episode 477 out tomorrow. 475 was just released a few hours ago, and we're going to release episode 476 later tonight, maybe 2 episodes in one day. If not 2 episodes in one day today, then there should be 2 episodes tomorrow, if we don't get 2 done today, released out on the podcast. So anyway, thank you for joining us. If you joined us live, that's great. If you join us during the replay, that's great too. We are so thankful. And I say it, maybe I say it too much. I don't know. I don't know that I can ever say it enough, because we're just so thankful for all the listeners we have all over the world. It's amazing. And again, one more thing, if you're from Canada and you see this, could you please watch a few more, or listen rather, to a few more episodes than normal, perhaps in the next 24 hours, and share with somebody, because I got a feeling we're close. We're at number 3 in Canada right now, and we want to hit number 1 in Canada. That would take us to, well, I've lost track of how many countries around the world where we've hit number 1. But so especially for those of you in Canada, in the United States as well, we were at number 8 yesterday or earlier today, which is the highest we've ever been in science fiction in the United States. I got a feeling that we could, maybe in the next month or so hit number 1 in the U.S. Maybe not. Maybe just the top 4 or 5. But man, the people that are ahead of us have been around for a decade or 12 or 14, or I think 1 or 2 of them have been around for like 16 or 17 years. So, and that helps in podcasting tremendously. Longevity is a big thing. So anyway, if you can help us by watching, listening to a few more episodes, sharing with some other people in your country, that would help us grow even faster, and we would appreciate you for that. And if you just do it by listening yourself, that's cool too. We're thankful for you. So have a great day. Probably back again tomorrow. I have no idea what we're going to do next, but probably back again in the booth live sometime tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and thank you for listening to the Lost Sci-Fi Podcast. Now I just have to hit the button that says finish. And I can't, because I'm getting the slow connection signal and it's covering the button. There we go.